channel Party at Cats. Today we are doing the December Q&A. If you're new around here or if you didn't know, every month I do a monthly Q&A, hence why it's called the monthly Q&A. To submit your questions, follow me on Instagram at Kath_Steele. I always do the little story ask me a question thing whenever I'm collecting questions. So let's jump right on into it. Theater Thursday fam official. Great tips on how to handle an unenthusiastic audience. Oh my gosh, that is the absolute worst. I hate it when I'm doing a comedy and the audience just isn't there for a comedy. Basically, you just go on with the show as rehearsed and hope the audience kind of gets on board, or you make slight adjustments. And I feel like these adjustments just kind of happen inherently. It's not really something that's talked about. You as an actor just kind of know to slightly shift what you're doing. For instance, I remember this very, very distinctly when I was doing Into the Woods for a few months. We would get certain audiences who were clearly more into silly humor. You had audiences who were just kind of like mean-spirited and they liked anything that was sarcastic or just kind of mean toward the characters. And when that happens, you can kind of learn to shift gears a little bit. So it's all about kind of finding a medium of doing the show as rehearsed and keeping the integrity of that, but also learning to read a room. Miranda Moncrief asks, Andrew Rannells? Seriously, that's all the question says. And my answer is, yes, please. Holly Ann Louisa asks, what is your favorite red lip color? I have a couple. My absolute favorite, like if you just need like a holiday, bright red, 1940s, 1950s, like very glamorous color, I love Russian Red by MAC. It's like a true bright red. I also love Zip by Glossier if you want kind of like a more natural kind of Betty Draper red. I've been rewatching Mad Men. Haley Van Wardragen asks, how does an actor just out of college support themselves with jobs? Not a lot of people are super financially stable getting right out of college, especially with a career in the arts. That's why you get a survival job. It might not necessarily be something that you love or something that's necessarily in your field, but it supplies you with cash, which is important if you want to pursue a career in anything, or if you just want to live life. The goal is to kind of find a job that artistically satisfies you, or at least has a schedule flexible enough that supports you financially and also allows you to support your creative endeavors in your downtime. I'm not going to say the username just in case for privacy because I don't really know the situation, as you'll see, but someone asked, I'm not straight, how do you advise I come out to my castmates? That's a very interesting question. First off, obviously I wanted to respect your privacy because the question is, are you out in general? Like, do your friends know? Does your family know? If not, I think that's kind of the first thing to address, is talking to your family and friends if you feel like you're at a place where you're ready to do that. And if you are already out and you just want to fill in your castmates or your new friends, I would say probably just kind of let it come up in conversation. If people are talking about, you know, cute boys or cute girls or just cute people that they like, you can mention people that you like and they will probably catch on like, oh, that's a different identity than I was anticipating. Nice. And people just tend to be very, very accepting and very supportive, so hopefully you have a similar experience. Lstringer13 asks, what is your opinion on schools restricting the content seen on stage? I think this is so important. But basically my concept and my theory of it is that a school should produce whatever work they are doing as written to the extent that it is supposed to be done. They should not be watering down material just for the sake of what they deem appropriate. That being said, if your school has specific things that they simply will not do or will not allow on stage, that's kind of okay and that's kind of up to them. They just need to produce shows that align with that. I don't think it's fair to water down art for the sake of what you deem acceptable. I think you just need to choose more family-friendly content. How do you manage school, musical theater, and a job? I have a whole video on that on my main channel. How can I create chemistry between me and my love interests? I have a whole video on that on my main channel. What type of dance should I start with if I want to start dancing? I have a whole video on that on my main channel. Ryan Lucas 55 asks, is it better to audition for a role that you don't like but fits you, or a role that doesn't fit you but you like? Depends on where you're doing the show and for what reason. If this is a hobby and you're doing this show for fun, go for the role that you like. If you're doing this show because you want to do this professionally or because it's your job, go for the role that you're better for because you probably want to get a paycheck. Another question that I'm going to keep anonymous because I don't know if you want your username read based on the content, but the question asks, so I have a pretty awful director which my mom calls abusive, to which I can agree. Any tips? and my tip is to get out of there. Do not work with that person. I don't know to what extent you mean abusive. I don't know if you kind of mean it in the hyperbolic, like, oh, they're just really a jerk kind of way, or if you mean literally abusive. If you feel like you're in danger, you need to get out of there. You need to tell an adult and get out of there. Okay, for something lighter, Abby K. Payne asks, how many water bottles do you own? 1. Well, actually 2. I have one that I don't really use that much. I pretty much always use Nathan, who you guys know. And by the way, have I introduced Nathan the 4th? My new baby. I feel like I introduced him in another video, but I'm not sure when that video goes up and when this one goes up, so you might see him being born twice. So there's something that I clearly have to address because I got an overwhelming amount of questions on this topic. So I think now is kind of a good time to address it. I got a lot of questions this month asking about my love life and what's going on in there. Here's the dealio. I enjoy getting on the internet, talking to a camera, making internet friends, talking to a bunch of people I've never met before. However, that's not the case for everyone. And when there are things that involve people other than myself, I feel like it's not necessarily really fair, and it's not really my place to share that information when it affects other people than me, if that makes sense. Additionally, I'm just kind of a private person when it comes to that sort of stuff. I got a lot of questions that were like, talk about hooking up, talk about funny stories from dates. Like, I'd feel uncomfortable if I was just having lunch at my favorite restaurant and some stranger ran up to me and just said, tell me what you do when you make out. And we also have to remember that this video just kind of lives on the internet for everybody. Like, it's not just for close members of the fam. It's just on the internet. So at this time, I just don't feel comfortable sharing that information on the internet. If there ever comes a time that I'm like, yep, I'm ready to share that info and everyone involved in that stories is either protected or okay with it, then yeah. Thank you guys in advance for being so respectful and sweet and understanding about that. So there you guys go. That does it for the December Q&A. I hope you guys are having a great day. I love you so, so much. Break a leg, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Leah Hollingsworth asks, is the video over?